I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're diving into a wonderful book. It is called Xrays of Little Hopes. It is a moving and suspense-filled romance novel written by a terrific author. Her name is Mercylyn B. Odibo. This powerful story follows Prue, a young woman longing for love and stability, only to be thrown into an emotional whirlwind that tests her faith, hope, and heart. With unexpected twists, emotional depth, and an inspiring message about God's unconditional love, this is a must read for fans of Christian romance and heartfelt drama. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. So good to have you on the show today, Mercylyn. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you this. Tell me what inspired you to write the book, X-Rays of
I'm
Little
sorry.
Hopes.
Oh, well, as a writer, um, I looked at the world and all the theatrics and everything that's going on in the world.
Mhm.
So that was my first inspiration, the environment we live in. And I also drew a little from my own life. I mean, you'd agree that there's just so many things going on and people just don't have the voice to speak up for what's going on in their lives. And someone just got to be out there to speak for people and highlight uh, these things going on in the world.
Mm.
So that was my first inspiration, other
Mm.
than my passion for writing. I always
Yeah.
had a passion for writing, so that was another inspiration. And I just didn't want to write because I have to put pen on paper or type up something on the computer, but I just wanted to be able to be out there to have a direction where my writing is going. And my goal was to, I would say that was also an inspiration, being able to inspire, motivate, and impact people.
Well, you've succeeded. You have absolutely motivated, and absolutely impacted, and absolutely inspired people with this wonderful book. Tell us about the title, X-Rays of Little Hopes. What does that mean?
X-rays of Little Hope. Uh, it's a lot of it's just as the word sounds, X-rays, and then X-raying something like if you need to find out more about anything, you want to take an X-ray to find out what's going on within. That was the goal that I had when I had this title in 2016. I already had written a short story in that line, A Ray of Hope. But when I had this title, X-Rays of Little Hope, I wanted to look at people's experiences, how they can influence each other. Because when you meet people, they tell you their story, they actually uh, get inspired from what other people are going through. So in other words, their story might be like having the ears to hear, but when they hear someone else's story, that might be just one notch they need to be able to figure themselves out and say, "Oh my God, this story has touched me. I would think that mine is the biggest, but look at what this one is going through." So those were what came into my mind when I had this title, X-Rays of Little Hope, and I wanted my storyline to go in that direction. So
Wonderful.
just yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Prue and tell us a little bit of the story. Give us an overview of the story.
Well, the story centers, like you already said, a young woman. You basically said a whole lot about Prue and what she's been through. Um, she was someone who trusted, and she was failed by those who she trusted the most. And at the end of the day, she found herself alone. So it was that reverting story that draws that raw emotion. Her life was what draws the emotion that would impact anyone based on her experiences. So she went through so much that she lost everything. She basically dropped to rock bottom. And at the end of the day, um, she had nothing else to hope for because she had lost everything except trust. I mean, I put her trust in God and just believe that things are going to turn around for her, and eventually they did. So it was just that story that I don't know how to put this word. Is it's like a knot down in your stomach, like um, that makes you want to. I don't know. I just passed that, but it was. She went through so much, and like just like everybody else, or maybe some of us in the society has been through, and that was what I wanted to paint. I mean, I wanted to paint with this character. I wanted to project in my story, and the pain and the emotion that she went through, and ultimately finding resolve. But it wasn't easy for her because she had to go through so much. It was like all hope was lost, and she had a lot of support as well to be able to get to that point where she made that conscious decision that I'm going to turn my life around. Mm-hmm. And how she did that, I'm going to have to leave the audience to find out when they buy the book.
Exactly. You don't want to give any spoilers away. You want them to read the book and they will get wonderful fulfillment from reading. Yeah, without a doubt. Did you base any of the characters on real people or real experiences?
Absolutely not. These are all fictional characters. They're just things I made up in my head and in my mind, my imagination. As soon as I got that title, I knew I started mapping out my plots and I knew exactly what they were doing. So they were just fictional characters.
Wonderful, wonderful. What role does faith play in Prue's life and in her decision making?
Yes, faith is very important in anything we do. Absolutely believing for the future, even if you haven't seen it yet, but having that personal motivation in yourself, and not just personal motivation with other people coming together to help you out. That can help build your faith. So faith was a very important and significant stronghold that she needed to hold on to be able to get to that point where she needed to be. Because without that faith, if she was completely gone, then she won't even have fruit today. But that faith in God was the only thing that she had to hold on to, and which I believe everybody else needs once in a while in our lives. Having faith in God and just trusting that things will definitely turn around, so long as you have the right mindset and you're channeled towards that direction.
Without a doubt. Why do you think so many readers will relate to Prue's struggles?
I mean, when I was crafting the story, like I said it was, I looked at the world as a whole, I looked at the environment, and people are going through so much. So Prue's story resonates with so many people, and there's just so many people, even me, going through all of what Prue went through without, even though I didn't, a lot of people may not have read my books, so a lot may have read it, but if you look at the storyline of Prue, she went through so much that so many people are going through right now. There's abuse, there's mental health struggle, there's people who don't believe in themselves because they've been told that many times. There's people that have been told no, and they just can't bounce back from that. And they just feel that once it's a no, it's a no. There's no way out for this. Some people have gotten so many no's than a yes. And then there's the issue of the um, false, false imprisonments and stuff like that. And there's so many aspects of our lives, relationship. How do you cope with relationship when it gets tough? What do you do in that scenario? With Prue's scenario, with Prue's situation, she had to, she got to that rock bottom. She didn't stay there like some people would. She was struggling. I mean, the only way to bounce back in any situation is having the tenacity that absolute mindset and being intentional about what you want. And I think that a lot of people miss that. And that's why I think it will resonate with so many people, because unless they get to that point where they are resolved and don't care about what it is that they've been through, they just know that they have a goal and they have to meet that goal, just like Prue did. I think that on that aspect, it will resonate with a lot of people, because Prue's struggle is very much present in our society today, with a lot of people. Whether would they like to accept it or not, there's just so much struggle that Prue went through. People have hit rock bottom. Um, people have bounced back from different scenarios, different situations that they thought was going to take their lives, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And people have come back from mental health, mental torture, and they got their life back. So I think that's one thing that someone's going to take away.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think a
those are
lot of
what
people will
people.
see themselves in Prue. I think they'll recognize, her struggles and her
Yeah.
life in them. Yeah, without a doubt. What message do you hope women take from Prue's story?
Well, for women, I would say that um, just be yourself, be who you are in anything you want to do, especially in a relationship. Be very authentic about who you are. Don't try to impress anyone, especially the male counterpart. Just whenever it happens, it happens. Um, Sometimes it doesn't happen when we want it, especially when we want to get into a relationship. We've been waiting for so long, it doesn't happen. I think that women should take that as a caution and just try to be patient, and also just be authentic for who you are. Whoever wants to love you for who you are will love you regardless. Even if you push them away 20 times, they'll still want to stay. So I think that with Prue's scenario, she was a little desperate with trying to get into a relationship. But at the end of the day, it was just what beat her butt, and I'm sorry, is that word? It beat
Yeah.
her in a bad way, and she learned so much from that. So I think as a lady, just be yourself, your authentic self. Just don't try to be pretentious about who you are. Doesn't mean that you have to be vulgar or be. Just be respectful and use words like you should, and just try to do things that you think resonates with you and please yourself and love yourself more than anybody else, like than anything else. Like rather than pleasing people pleasing, just love yourself and do what's right for you only.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great advice, great message for sure. The book explores themes of delayed or unanswered prayers. Tell us about that aspect of the story.
Can you say that again, sir?
So the book explores themes of delayed or unanswered prayers. Sometimes prayers seem to go unanswered. Sometimes the answer to your prayers comes much later. Talk to us about that part of the story.
Well, for me, with my experience as a Christian, because I'm a Christian as well, um, I just feel that in terms of prayers and answers to prayers, we can't really control that. You don't have control over it, because God is in control of everything. So you can't tell God how to answer your prayers or when to. God will answer your prayer when He thinks is right for you.
Mm.
Some prayers are delayed not because of anything we've done wrong, but probably because it wasn't the right time or the perfect time to get the answer, that prayer answered. As in situations like that, I think that a lot of people just have to be patient, just have to trust the process and trust God. So I don't really believe there's any word like delayed prayers or answered prayers. For
Yeah.
me, my own experience, I believe that all prayers get answered, but just the timing.
Yeah.
But
We might
just
not
people can wait for it.
understand the answer. We might not understand God's plan,
Yes.
but God is there. He's there to
Hmm.
watch over us. He's there to take care of us. We might not like his plan. We might not understand his plan. At times we might not want to accept his plan, but
Mhm.
God, in the end, God's will be done, right?
Well, so much so that I would say that God gives us our will. Sometimes it's not always. Sometimes our will is also incorporated into God's will. God gives us what we want, our heart desires. He makes promises. He just said, "Ask, and it'll be given." But it's just the timing when we want it. It's not when God wants it. I mean, it's you can say, "Oh, I want to be married." You want to marry someone who's a serial killer because it's God's will and they haven't turned around. So that wouldn't be God's will for you, but it's just definitely going to be your relationship with God. The way God answers prayers is just based on your relationship with Him and how you're able to um, channel your faith and patience into His timing. I think that's how God answers prayers.
Yeah, I agree.
I
I
think so.
agree.
That's my opinion.
Mhm. Yeah. God's love is incorporated in the plot. God's love. Talk to us why it was so important for you to make that part of the story, the love of God.
Well, I think the in John 3:16 it says, "So God so loved the world that He sent His only begotten Son to die into the world to set the world free." So I think that love is very important in everything we do, and God loved us first, and His very major commandment is to love people. So I think love in everything we do is extremely important. Everybody needs love. So if we don't give love to people, we can never actually know what they're going through. We can never actually experience what they're experiencing or feel or resonate with their feelings. So love is the first thing we have to give to be able to even have that compassion towards people, to be able to help them. I think that's why love is very important. And for people who don't have love, like for Prue's experience, what she went through, and all the people that eventually stepped up in her situation, if they didn't have love in their hearts, I don't think they would ever have been able to listen to Prue or even help her get through some of the challenges that she was going through. So love is extremely important in everything. Love is the one that makes you look at your neighbor in the morning and wave to them and want to find out what they're going through. If you haven't seen them in 3 days, you want to find out. And so love played a huge part in the trajectory of my story and the trajectory of Pooh's journey. And I think that love was the ultimate thing that helped us through as well. That was one of the things that helped her through as well,
Yeah,
getting her ultimate victory.
absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have a favorite section or part of this book that when you wrote it, you're like, wow, I really like that? A favorite scene, anything like that?
Oh my God. I think
Mhm.
every part of that story,
Yeah.
every scene is my favorite. Some
Mm.
made me laugh, some made me cry, some made me don't want to put the book down. Like I want to read it again and again, and it's stick in my memory. I keep thinking about them and I'm smiling when I actually put the book down.
Mm.
So I think that all parts of the book is my favorite from the beginning to the end. I think it just had a quick upbeat that that draws the reader in. The raw emotions was also one part of it of the characters. They were
Mm.
very open with how they. I try to make them very open with who they are, ordinary, simple, and just flawed people who are not perfect. So those were areas that I think everything in the book resonates with me.
Yeah.
The emotions, everything about the emotion, whether it's crying or laughter,
Mm.
whatever it is. And I believe that that's what I wanted the readers to get, or the audience to get from the book as well. That part that actually draws them, that want them to keep reading and reading and reading.
Absolutely. Have you envisioned this book as a film, perhaps a movie?
I think I have because actually someone had told me, or probably a couple of people had told me that it sounds like a movie. I said, yeah, because that's also a favorite aspect of this book. Uh, being able to draw the emotions and the activities of the characters and make it look like a live scene.
Mhm.
When the dialogue actually looked like a live scene, that's what I wanted. I wanted the audience to feel the live scene like it's actually happening while they're reading it. And I
Mm.
think in a way, probably I met that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've created great characters, great settings, great scenes, great conflicts, great philosophy, and I think it would be a wonderful, very, very multi-layered movie, and I think it would be beautiful. Are you thinking about writing any other works after this, a sequel perhaps, anything like that?
But you know what? I'm so glad you asked me that question. I honestly thought I was done with that book. We just This was my final, but I think that I'm going to get more ideas for even a sequel or maybe a part two. I think that that might be something I'm looking into. That's something I'm definitely looking into. I might possibly happen in the future. I just feel that where it ended, it needed to be resurrected again and just add a little more to that. I think so. But I
Yeah.
can't like completely say yes, but it's something I'm thinking about seriously.
Absolutely. Is this your first time
Mhm.
writing a book, or have you written other works before?
Actually, this is my debut book. It's my
Yeah.
first book. Took a long
That,
while, but I'm
that's
so
wonderful.
happy to see it come to life. Mhm.
Have you always enjoyed writing rather?
Excuse me
Have
one
you always
second.
enjoyed writing? Do you enjoy writing?
Absolutely. I started writing when I was a teenager, actually. That's when I started writing. So from then, I started like putting them in journals, and I was so shy to let anybody see it. I said it don't make sense. But my school teacher had happened to have seen um, one assignment that I did a fiction assignment, just like write anything, any story of your choice, and I
Mm.
did, and I wrote about a dog, a
Mm.
wounded dog, and then she came and she got me from a class. Who wrote this for you? Tell me the truth. I said, I wrote it myself. It's like,
Mm.
oh my God, you can write. And I told her about my journal. She's like, don't hide it anymore. Start writing. Go start find a way to get your book published. And that's how I got that my first book. Sorry, not the first, my first story, A Ray of Hope. I got it published in a newspaper while I was still in school. So I've always enjoyed writing. I, I keep writing and writing,
Yeah.
writing and writing. So writing is,
Wonderful.
I
Well, we're
don't think
glad you got
I
some
ever give up
encouragement
writing.
because you're a great writer.
Yeah,
Who's the first person you gave this story to, X-Rays of Little Secrets? Who did you give it to and say, hey, read this?
I actually didn't give it to anybody
Mm.
to read. I was hiding it, but somehow, as you know, computers are not the best place to save your work. I would say that, but somehow um, I had a lot of challenges to this work, like keeping it in wraps, but fighting to keep my work. But I didn't actually give it to anyone. I didn't trust anyone to give it to. The only one person that I shared my story a little bit with was my cousin, my niece, who wrote my she wrote a portion of my it's not a preface, it's kind of like my forward.
Hmm.
And so I shared that part of the story with her. I just didn't want the story to be out there, but there's nothing you can do about it when you put stuff on the computer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, we're
so I'm
glad
not
it's
saying
in
the
print
best.
now. We're glad it's in print
Yeah.
now, and we're glad the masses can enjoy it because it's a wonderful story. Tell us a little bit about your own story. How long have you lived in the United States and what that journey to the US was like?
Oh, is well, since you asked the question, I'm gonna have to answer, but not in full. Well, coming to the United States was it wasn't like well, it was that there was definitely a change in the environment, but just because of the areas. where I lived in West Africa. It wasn't so much of a change per se, but it was quite a huge experience. It was frightening at first, and then I started to find my feet. Um, that's it. And then it's
How old were
been
you when you
really
came to this country?
yeah, it started off pretty well, and then it got a little bit rough,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a bit of challenges here and there, and I'm still trying to walk through my challenges as well.
Yeah.
And I say this book is a major, um, I would say, is a major break for me. Not like a break, but a major accomplishment
Accomplishment, right? Yeah.
other than going to school. Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. How long have you been in the United States?
Oh, well, about 20 or over.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And when you came here from West Africa, was it a tough transition? Did you have family or friends here? What was it like?
Well, I always had family overseas, like
Hmm.
most parts of the globe. Uh, well, I did have someone I did come here. Well, I did have one relative or two, but somehow we kind of had a disconnection somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a tough one, but I
yeah.
that's the best way I can answer that.
Well, we're glad you came here. We're glad you've created this wonderful, wonderful book. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I think a lot of people will find commonalities in their own lives with Prue. She's a great heroine. She's a great character, and it's a lovely
Mhm.
work. The name of the book is X-Rays of Little Hopes. It is a deeply emotional journey of love, faith, and resilience that will leave you uplifted and inspired. Mercylyn, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time, your insight, your wisdom, and the great work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.